So what's our next topic, Vanessa?
We're lucky to have Varshini Satish here from Snapchat to help us learn about how they're working to grow this Snap's pool of creative talent.
So
we also have all of Mannella, an amazing content creator, here with us today. Please welcome them out.
Hi, everyone. So nice to meet you all. My name is Varshini Satish. I'm head of emerging creator partnerships at Snapchat. And I'm really excited to chat with you all about how we're working with our talent and what it means to be a Snap star on the platform. Snap stars are what we call our verified creators. So I'm just going to take you through what it takes to be a creator, what you can expect as a verified creator, and I'll be at the booth after if you have any questions. So let's start with the Snap stats first. So if you start creating on the platform, we always like to tell you who you're making content for. As of 2023, we have 414 million daily active users, and we have 5 billion snaps sent every single day, which is kind of a mind-boggling number if you think about it. In terms of our demographics and who you're creating content for, we capture 90% of 13 to 24-year-olds in over 20 countries. And then we capture 75% of 13 to 34-year-olds in over those exact same 20 countries as well. So when you're creating content on Snapchat, we say that you don't have to stick in a single content category. It's about being a 360 version of yourself. So we like to say that maybe you're a sports creator on every single other platform or a beauty creator, but on Snap, you are going to be a vlog and daily lifestyle creator first, with a side of whatever content category you're normally in as your secondary piece of content. So just think of yourself as posting those little moments that maybe people you think might not be interested in on other platforms. People want to know that here. On Snap, all viewers are extremely, extremely nosy, so make sure to share those in-between moments of your day-to-day life. Why do creators love Snap? Why are creators creating on Snap? You might have seen recently that a ton of top talent has been talking about Snapchat on different podcasts and everything like that, about how much they're earning, etc. I'm going to take you through all of that as well. So Snap, we like to call it a content playground. All of your Samsung Galaxy devices are very easily integrated with Snapchat's camera, so it also makes it extremely easy to pump out content on Snapchat. So you might find that you're creating content at a much higher pace on Snap than your other platforms, because like I said, it's about those smaller in-between moments. It's about sharing those little things while you're on the go. It truly is completely unedited content, so you have closer, more direct relationships with your audience on Snapchat as well. They're seeing your content right next to their friends and family's content, so they feel a much closer connection to you, and they see you as more of a person on Snapchat as well. You do a lot of Q&As, you do a lot of polls, and you speak directly to them. I've taken Snapstars out to lunch when I'm in LA, which is where our head office is, and there will be people who come up to these creators and say, like, I follow you on Snapchat. You actually answered one of my questions in a Q&A, and I just felt so seen and so heard by you. So if you've been looking for a place to have a much more unedited and unfiltered conversation with your audience, this is the platform to do it on. People are not quick to cancel, people are not quick to judge on Snap, and people are a lot kinder overall from all the talent I've worked with and hearing their experiences. So it's a really good place to just chat to your audience. Depending on the type of creator you are, we also have 3 different distribution surfaces of what you can make on Snapchat. I'm going to get into each of them in a second, but we have stories, we have Spotlight. A couple years ago, you might have heard that we were giving away $1 million a day for the best Spotlight content. And we also have the Snap Map, which I think isn't talked about enough. So I'm going to take you through what it means to be a creator on that as well. Our biggest reminder is that we invented stories. So this is the original home of stories content. So this is something that we are committed to, we are sticking to, and we are not abandoning stories anytime soon. To show our investment to our creators and how much we care about stories, we actually last year released our Stories Revenue Share program. So this is our big monetization program that's created so much buzz in the creator community. And basically, the way it works is, if you hit a certain number of eligibility requirements, I put you in the program, and then every 8 to 10 seconds that your audience consumes of your story content, we place an ad in your stories, and we split the money with you on those ads that are in your stories. So the number one metric on Snapchat to take care of, it's not necessarily your followers, it's actually your average story view time. You want to make sure that you're posting content that people want to watch all the way through and stick to, instead of just spurts of content or things that are too clickbaity and things like that. You want them to really engage with your content so you get as many stories added into your stories as possible, as many ads added into your stories as possible. Tile merchandising is our fancy way of saying make your stories engaging, so when people scroll through the Discover feed and they're trying to look through your content, they want to click into your content and watch your stories. So if you're posting for a given time period, the last thing that you post is going to be the first thing that shows up in this Discover feed. So you're going to want to make it something really engaging. In the middle is Rick Locks. He's one of our top food creators on the platform. And every time he tries a new restaurant, whether it's Carbone, or as he shared here, top 5 pastrami sandwiches of 2021, he'll make a cover photo as his last photo, and that will show up basically as his first thumbnail in the distribution section. Saved stories are also incredibly important because we're reaching a world where your saved stories are also getting distributed in the Discover feed, and you can monetize off of them as well. If people are consuming that content, we also do place ads in there as well. So why are saved stories extremely important? There are actually profiles on Snapchat right now, and the way that people can learn more about you is through your saved stories. Normally, I work with a lot of our signed models and fashion creators in the US. And there's this one particular model that I work with who is obviously posting her runway content, her beauty content, her fashion content, but she also has an obsession with gas station snacks and food. So she has an entire saved story highlight just dedicated to trying that food when she's on road trips back and forth between New York and Georgia, where her family lives. So in this way, I've not only been able to leverage her for brand deals in beauty and fashion content, but also with brands like Cheetos and other snack brands, because she's also showing us that side of herself on this platform, and she might not be showing that anywhere else. On the talent team, we always like to say, fill out your public profile, make it engaging, make it enticing, make it easy for me to pitch you to our different brands and partners. In terms of creator best practices, these are the main things that you need to remember on Snapchat. Authenticity, build trust, and make it personal all go hand in hand. You are going to have the closest relationship with your audiences on this platform because it's so casual, it is so unedited, and when creators first jump on, they always ask me, what is the hardest thing about creating on Snap? It's actually thinking so much less. It's about being transparent, it's about building a connection with your audience, and it's about just showing them a completely unedited and unfiltered side of you. It's giving very, hey guys, welcome back to my channel. That era of content is still alive and well on this platform. So anything that you think people don't really care about everywhere else that you feel is too edited will do super, super well here. And you can snap like a pro. Like I said, we have a host of creative tools that make it so easy for you to create content in-app, edit in-app, and post. Our top creators actually make all of their content right in Snapchat and post straight from the camera, so you don't need to go to another platform to do that. We like to talk about making a meal of a moment on Snapchat. You want to take one singular moment, one singular day, and blow it up into a lot of stories. You want to think of posting high quality stories that people stay all the way through on. So we like to say that there's an appetizer, which is the beginning of the content, the meal, which is the middle of the content, the bulk of where your stories are going to be, and then finally, dessert. How does that work in something like Snap School, in something like today's event? What you can do is start off your morning by showing your outfit, by telling your viewers what you're going to be doing today, giving a little bit of an intro of what you're excited for. The bulk of your content is going to come throughout the course of today's event, and you might be snapping different sessions. You might be snapping the fact that you've met your creator friends here, what they're wearing, what they're up to, and that's going to be the bulk of your content. You might even snap your lunch and give a little food review, taste test situation. And then finally, what is dessert going to look like? That's when you get back to your home, that's when you get back to your hotel room, and you talk about what you've learned that day, your key takeaways, close it out, post a really great cover photo for the end that's going to show up at the beginning as your distribution point. So again, things that matter is telling a great story. The average story view time is key. That is the number one thing that you're going to want to protect and continuously drive up. Our Snapchat insights make it really easy to keep track of that. So just always think about increasing your average time watched on your stories so that, again, if you're in the monetization program, you get more ads placed in your story as well. Quality matters over quantity 100% of the time. If someone clicks into your cover photo of your stories from the Discover page and they're not really engaging with your content, they swipe out, they go to a different story, obviously your average story view time is going to take a little bit of a ding. So make sure that you're prioritizing quality, and you don't want to encourage the behavior where you post so much that people start clicking through like this and they're speeding through your story. You really want to make sure it's engaging. Spotlight is our platform where it's best of user-generated content. The way you want to think about this is stories, people typically know who you are, they know your day-to-day life, and they want to learn more about you. Your Spotlight, on the other hand, is going to be a video that is up to 60 seconds. It's a short-form piece of content that's completely self-contained and lives on our final tab. It looks like a little play button if you go into the Snapchat app. It's an endless scroll feed where it's really bite-sized pieces of highly entertaining, highly visual content. At Snap, we say that we're an and, not an or. We understand that you're all very busy and on multiple platforms. If there's content that you want to repurpose that you think would do really well on Spotlight, what you're going to want to do is make sure that there are no watermarks from any other platforms and use one in-app editing tool at a minimum, and that way the algorithm reads it as native, and you can also contribute to Spotlight. You can earn for your Spotlight videos doing really, really well, but the number one thing that I tell creators in terms of Spotlight is to think of it as a discovery. People discover you on Spotlight, they follow your profile from your spotlights, they watch your stories, you monetize your stories. So that's kind of like the chain that we take creators through. And finally, Snap Maps, like I said, this does not get nearly enough love, but if you post to Snap Maps, if you use a little location filter, review restaurants, review coffee shops, you can essentially serve as a tour guide for your city or a city that you're visiting. So just make sure that you are posting to the Snap Maps, and as a verified creator, your content will show up first. In college, for example, I was using this platform to figure out where my friends were, to figure out where the best bars to go out were. People are still using it today, but they're using it to find new restaurants and cities that they're visiting. So if you're posting to it, you're verified, someone clicks on Erewhon, Carbone, whatever it may be, your content is going to show up first. And that's just another discovery point for people to find you. So now I figure the best thing to do would be to invite up Olive, who is one of our top Snapchat creators, to give you kind of her experience as being a creator on the platform. And we'll be joined by Simon from the Samsung team. Thank you, guys. Hi.
That was fascinating, by the way.
Thank you.
Quick poll for the audience. So, creators, put your hands up. Those who are on Snap, keep your hands up. Okay. What's that? 20%? So I think this is
I see Demi back there.
I think this is a hot topic. So we'll take some time to explore some of the things you just discussed, and Olive, your real life experience being on Snap. And then we'll save some time for some questions as well. So think of those questions. So maybe Olive, what's your journey on Snap been? Talk us through how you started, where you are now, what you've seen along the process.
Yeah, for sure. So I actually got verified on Snap at a Samsung event. It was Samsung Unpacked in August, so that was awesome. I was super grateful to have that opportunity. And ever since then, you know, I've been using Snapchat since I was like 14 or 15 years old. Like, it was our way of communicating growing up and being a teenager. So now being in my 20s and having Snapchat, it's been great as a creator because I still have that authentic side where I'm able to show my followers and my friends just me and my family and the things we're doing on a day-to-day basis. But I'm also able to use my creator side and grow my platform on Snap to reach a different audience as well. So my journey has definitely been, in the last few months since getting verified, a really fun one to get to kind of go back into my Snap era and become a Snap star and meet almost like a whole new side of social media.
And you mentioned verification. I know you just touched on that. So can you talk a bit more about that process of verification, how it compares to other platforms maybe?
So we're super hands-on and very selective with our verification process. Globally, we have an extremely small pool of verified creators. It's like under 20K, which is pretty insane when you think of other platforms that are out there. And that's because we hand verify and meet with every single creator that we verify, because you do get a little bit of that prioritization in our feed and a little bit of, for lack of a better word, boost, right? So you want to make sure that you're giving it to talent that's creating high quality, brand safe, community guideline safe content on the platform. And that process, like I said, if you write into that email, a team will walk you through that whole thing if you're eligible. We'll also send you into a best practices webinar, and then we can meet and chat further, and you'll be invited to any of our events in office and around the world.
Okay, you heard it here first. So I suppose as a follow-on to verification, let's talk monetization.
Yeah, of course.
How does that work, and when do people start making money?
Okay, so our Stories Rev Share program, you need to have a minimum of 50,000 followers to be included. That's just one of the metrics. That's kind of the top one that we look at, though. I believe, do not quote me on these numbers, but I think it's 12,000 hours of view time and 25 million profile views in a given month that you need to have. And we also recommend that you're posting 20 frames of content at least 10 days in a given month. If you go to like creators.snap.com, you will get all of that information laid out much better. So I think I got those numbers right, but you'll get all that information laid out. And then once you hit those benchmarks, we add you into the Stories Rev Share program.
Great.
Yeah.
So you mentioned some of the formats of content. So maybe for Olive, what formats are you using? What's been working? Mm-hmm. And then I'm curious, listening to a discussion from Demi and the team earlier, whether you repurpose other content, whether you're creating new content. What does that look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So for me on Snapchat, I kind of do like two different things I focus on mainly is stories and then spotlight. With stories, it's really, really fun because I don't post that type of content really anywhere else. So it's like the nuances of my daily life, people who really love me. I post a lot of the content I post with my family. So, I'll post a ton of behind the scenes stuff with my family, things that we do, like our quirks and stuff like that on my stories. Just basically like my raw realist self on social media. And then to be able to grow, I've been able to post a lot on Spotlight. That's where I've seen a lot of the growth on my account. And that content actually does differ a little bit. It does seem to be a little bit more those like relatable, kind of smaller, quicker videos seem to draw in a lot of people and create conversation and engagement from that spotlight. And then it shares into that pool of like having now a little community that does watch my stories and engages with me in that way. So that's what's been working for me as I've become a Snap star, basically.
Is that a common theme you see across other creators?
I think so. I think exactly what you described, especially honing in on the fact that you're posting content that you might not post everywhere else. This platform really is designed to be for those in-between moments, not necessarily your most highly produced and edited videos. There is a place for that on Spotlight, but really just posting those in-between moments on the go is what does exceptionally well here.
Right.
Yeah.
And then what's the trajectory been like for you, Olive, in terms of followers and views?
Yeah, so I, like I said, I had Snapchat as just a user at one point, and then once I became a Snap star, I think now I have about 23,000 followers since August. So I've been really, really pleased and like excited about that. I'm hoping to get to the point where I can monetize my stories and continue to grow and see my audience blossom on there. But it's been really cool because I don't know. I mean, in my experience, it's been kind of hard to grow on a lot of platforms recently. So joining Snap and getting to see that and see like my hard work almost kind of pay off has been really, really gratifying as a creator. It's not always the case everywhere else, you know?
And I just want to touch on one quick thing. The weight of a follower on Snap is so much, I would say, heavier and potent than other platforms, in my opinion, having worked at other platforms as well, just because when someone subscribes to your content, they are really subscribing like into your world. And that subscription behavior isn't as common on Snap. So if someone's following you, chances are they aren't following a ton of other people. So the fact that like you have 23,000 followers, those are 23,000 real people constantly watching your content. So yeah.
Do you have a sense of those 23,000 followers, do you have a sense of the overlap between other platforms?
No, actually, we can't. I don't think we can dig that information up.
Yeah, for me, it's like I'll notice sometimes, familiar names of people that I see common and engage a lot on my other content. I'll see them on my Snap, which is always super exciting. But something that's fun about Snap, I think most of my demographics on there are actually between the ages of like 13 and 17. And that isn't even the case on some of my other platforms. So it's kind of cool because I'll get almost a whole new age group and a whole new group of people to share my content with,
I won't mention the D word, but your dad's here. You spoke also about some of the tools available for creators. Could you talk a bit about?
So we on platform have a pretty extensive suite of editing tools so that you can create your spotlight content in platform. You can create really high quality stories in platform as well. So we have one called director mode where it basically lets you add on to a single snap. So yes, you can repurpose content into your spotlights, but say, I'm going to give the beauty example again, or even a food example. You want to just quickly shoot a self-contained video about your lip combo as you're running out the door, or like your morning matcha. You really just can film all of that in-app, edit super quickly in-app in a very efficient manner, and post it directly to Spotlight. That is the type of stuff that does really, really, really well on the platform.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, I'm not going to lie, I take most of my pictures or just like my quick little things. I take it in my Snap camera. And I mean, on the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra, there's a little thing that you can put on your home screen. So literally, instead of having my camera roll app, I have my Snapchat and it goes right to my Snap app and I take my pictures and I post right to my story from there. And it's just a really casual way of being able to connect with my followers and connect with my friends, really. It's a really casual way of being able to connect, if that makes sense, or like spontaneous, you know?
So the theme of this SGCC this year is AI. Are there AI tools available in Snap?
Yes.
How does that work?
We actually have My AI, which is a fun little chatbot that you can speak to and ask questions with. I know a lot of creators actually use My AI to help them with content ideas and just help them ideate different pieces of content to create either on Snap or other platforms. And it's right at the top of your chat section. You can just chat with My AI and it's super, super cool, actually. Yeah.
Have you used it?
Yeah, sometimes when I'm feeling lonely, I go on there and I ask him some questions. Ask him how I'm looking today. He'll be like, "Oh, you look great." And I'm like, "Oh, good, I feel better."
I've got a few more questions, but any questions from the audience?
Thank you. Question would be if I have a following on other apps and I had Snapchat when I was 13 and then just kind of got rid of it eventually. What's the best way, I guess, to start from scratch? I know you guys had everyone raise their hands and then a lot of people put their hands down when they didn't have Snap. What would be some of your advice if it's like, hey, I'm in and I want to start either migrating your followers, finding new followers, starting from scratch? What do you think?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. So one, if you already have a Snap account, you've had it for 10 years, you don't like your username, we can figure that out. But if you're verified, the good thing is we actually don't search by your handle. We search by your display name. So whatever your display name is, I always like to give this example. Justin Bieber's handle is like Rick the Sizzler or something like that. And I think we've offered Justin Bieber to his team before, but it really doesn't matter because he's verified. If you just look up Justin Bieber, that's the first person that's going to come up. So do not worry about your handle. Do not let that stop you from reaching out and starting to create content. The second thing is if you're worried about having your old like friends and family and people from high school and everything. Once you get that creator verified profile and just creator profile in general, it kind of splits you into two views. So you'll be posting to something called your public story, which is where anybody can consume your content, even if you don't add them back and you're not like bi-directional friends. And then there's something called my story or your friends only story, where you can still post to that, and that will be only for your family and friends that have added you and you've added back. So we've got a really nice split view, essentially, if you want to keep the same account and keep going. If you want to start from scratch, try to secure a username that comes as close as possible to what you'd like, and then we can take it from there in terms of helping you get set up.
So for those creators who don't post their life and their lifestyle as a form of content and it's more curated, how does the platform treat people who just focus on the spotlight aspect of it?
Honestly, there are a lot of creators that I have worked with. Rayan Sheikh is one of them. I really recommend following him. He's an amazing like men's lifestyle, fitness, grooming, fashion creator. He grew exclusively because of Spotlight, all the way up to 66K, because Spotlight is such a powerful discovery place. And then I found him and then verified him and then was like, let's think about stories. Let's like figure out what's the most easy, natural way for you to start making story content that makes you feel comfortable. So you can get discovered, build your audience exclusively through Spotlight. And I know you're sitting right next to Demi. I would also recommend talking to her just because she kills on the Spotlight aspect of it all too.
Thank you.
Maybe I'm going to put you on the spot, Olive. So while you have
Ready.
Varshini here, what would you like to see added to Snap?
Ooh, that's a good question.
We can come back to it if you want to think about it. But,
Yeah, let me think about it for a second because I want to give a good answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe flip question to you. What's coming down the line that you can tell us?
I can't share too much, but one thing I will say is right now our big focus is the Stories Rev Share program and is just bringing on new creators and new talent and working with them one-on-one and helping them grow. It still feels like early days on Snap in this new era that we're in. So I really recommend, like, if you're trying to jump on, now's the time to jump on because really exciting things are coming out. I unfortunately can't share too much, but we
Not even
try to-
exclusive?
Yeah, no. We try to do right by our creators. We always take creator feedback. We're always building for you, trying to meet you in the real world at events and everything. So I would say it's been a joy to just work with the talent here. So reach out. We're excited to meet you.
Right.
Okay, I figured out my question. I mean,
Tell me.
my thing that I would love to see. I love being able to post like a little bit longer of content.
Yeah.
And Spotlight, I know it caps at the 1 minute. So if I had to say anything, I would love to see Snap expand. And if that is one of those things, you don't have to just blink once.
I'm like, eyes wide open.
No, but seriously,
That is a good one.
yeah, it just sometimes like having that 1 minute cap, you have to be a little creative of how
Yeah.
to cut your
Yeah.
content up. So even expanding it another like 30 seconds a minute would be even more fun. I could add some more stuff in there.
I agree. Sometimes I'm making content. Like I reviewed Carbone last night. I was like, I need more time.
Yeah, I was like, it's cutting me off.
But yeah, I will send an email over right after this. Done. I'll send an email to product team.
So I think one thing I hear a lot in the creator community and economy, and we've heard it today a lot, is just do it. Just give it a go and see what happens. What's your advice, Olive, for just giving it a go? Like that 10 minutes of giving it a go, what does that look like?
I think, it's always hard because whenever people say that, you think about, okay, yeah, I'm going to do that.
Right.
And that's kind of like, even I do that sometimes where I'm like, oh, I want to do that. And then it just becomes something I repeat back and it's never done. So I think something that helps, and this ties into Snap a lot and with Samsung, is I think both Samsung and Snap value authenticity a lot. And that's probably why I've been working with Samsung for 3 years now, is like, it's something that I always find myself bringing back to. It's like, all right, authenticity. Because if it's about being the best, probably not going to be able to do that. If it's about being the worst, even that's kind of hard to do. You know, if there's some sort of ultimate goal, it's a lot harder to do than, okay, I'm just going to be myself and put myself out there. If people don't like it or don't like that, at least they're rejecting something that I can't change. Like, this is just who I am, you know? And you don't feel this almost like defeat because you're like, oh, I didn't do anything wrong. It was just a few people didn't like that, but I might find the people who will. So I'm just going to keep putting myself out there, keep being authentic, and eventually I'm going to find a group of people that's going to resonate with that. Even if it's small, you know what I mean?
Right.
You will eventually, as long as you just keep doing it.
That's beautiful. I really like that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What's your 10-minute?
Giving it a go.
Like someone's got 10 minutes to get going. What do they do?
Okay, I need you to secure a handle. I need you to make your public profile, creators.snap.com. Go on there. It tells you how to build a public profile. I need you to do that first. Fill that whole thing out, and all I care about is that you post story content initially. Just post the stories. The hardest thing is developing the habit when you adopt a new platform is just remembering that it exists and to post there. So set a timer on your phone for every day, 10 minutes, whether it's uploading from your camera roll or snapping in that moment what you're eating for lunch. That's all I want you to focus on is just building the habit, building your public profile, because I want to be able to pitch you as soon as possible to really cool opportunities. So fill that out so that we can learn about you. That's my 10 minutes. That's what I would do.
I love it. You know, there's 2 million people that are going to see this and be submitting their profiles.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready.
So hands up to those who are not on Snap who are now going to try Snap. Okay.
Okay, slay. We love to see it.
Okay, great. Thank you. That
you
was
so much.
insightful. I think people can find you in a booth or at a
Yes,
table.
I think I'll be right over there, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to take a short break. So head over to see Varshini. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.